What is going on? Horse Beef MMA here. I'm bringing you my first ever UFC prediction video. I figured UFC 300 is the best one to start, and let's just start right off the top with the early prelim opener, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt, two former champions. The fact that this is opening up the card is insane to me. But I'm picking Deiveson Figueiredo to win this one. I feel like that's not the controversial pick. Most people are picking Deiveson in this one. I can see Cody Garbrandt winning. I'm not writing him off completely, but I think, his last two wins, while the last one was quite impressive, a win before that was just kind of a lay and pray, very safe performance. Last performance was impressive, though. He's putting himself in dangerous positions, but Brian Kelleher has never been one to have dangerous power. And, of course, Garbrandt was going to have the speed advantage there. So I expected him to win that one. And I think he will have the speed advantage against Deiveson Figueiredo. I expect both guys to take the first round off to sort of make reads. But both of them are very much willing to stand in the pocket and trade if it comes down to it. And I think that's how this fight will end. My prediction is that in the second round, Cody Garbrandt will maybe land something short on Figueiredo, like a short right hook, left hook, something like that, because that's all Cody Garbrandt really throws. He might wobble Figueiredo. He'll get overzealous, get in the pocket, try and finish the fight. And I think at that point, Deiveson Figueiredo will catch Garbrandt with something in the middle of that chaos that puts him out cold. I don't think he has the chin to take what Deiveson Figueiredo has to offer. He's shown against Rob Font, even though Rob Font gets hurt by everybody he fights pretty much except for Garbrandt, ironically. Figueiredo was still able to hurt him, and I think he'll snipe him with something big because Figueiredo snipes you with a nuclear missile. He doesn't throw straight shots really down the middle. He throws looping overhands, but at the right time. So he looks for his moments. Cody Garbrandt, I can definitely see getting ahead of steam over him, but at any point in this fight, Deiveson Figueiredo is dangerous and can easily win this one. Now let's get into the second fight of the night: Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. It's a tough one to predict because both guys are out of their prime. Both guys are legends in the UFC. The momentum tells me that Jim Miller will win this one. Stylistically, I want to pick Bobby Green, though, although I do think that Jim Miller has the grappling advantage here. Even though Bobby's grappling is quite underrated, his wrestling is decent, Jim Miller's jiu-jitsu, I think, is a level above, and he's also willing to use it. He also has the power advantage. Bobby Green just came off a brutal knockout loss. Honestly looked more like a cartel execution video that you'd find on Live Leak more than an MMA fight.
What else do you need? I mean, what is going on? He's out again.
Terrible finish for Bobby Green to go through. And this short little turnaround, I'm going to predict Jim Miller. I want to say by decision for some reason, but I also want to say that Jim Miller will continue his finish streak and put Bobby Green out maybe in the second round. And there will be a lot of second round finishes. And if I didn't make that clear, second round finish for Deiveson Figueiredo in the first is what I'm predicting. Also, Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. This is a tough one to predict for me too, because this really is a pick'em. In my opinion, this is one of the closest fights to predict on the entire card. Marina Rodriguez is getting up there in age, but Jessica Andrade has been through so many wars that she may as well be 36 as well. I don't think she's in her prime anymore. It doesn't really move her head. Very open to straight shots down the middle. Marina Rodriguez is similar to Joanna Jędrzejczyk in the sense that she throws long combinations, straight shots down the middle, leg kicks, that kind of shit. So I think stylistically, this fight does favor Marina Rodriguez, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jessica Andrade gets her against the cage and throws her big John Lineker, Vanderlei Silva hooks, puts her out cold or something like that. But I'm going to pick Marina Rodriguez by decision. I think she'll just outclass her on the feet for the most part. And the final fight of the early prelims, Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. This is a very, very, very bad fight for Moicano, in my opinion. I don't know if he'll be able to lay and prey on top of Jalen Turner like he did against Drew Dober. Jalen is a massive, massive lightweight. He could be fighting at middleweight. Honestly, it's crazy. He is one of the bigger weight bullies in the UFC. His build is just so crazy for that weight class. And I think on the feet, he's far too much for Moicano. He has every advantage. His straight shots are crisp. He throws hooks very, very well, and it's very deceiving with how he throws his hooks. It's similar to John Jones when he throws an elbow on you. Jalen Turner can hit you with a looping shot completely out of range. At least you think you're out of range, then you're getting cracked. So I'm thinking Jalen Turner. I think first round knockout. He has every advantage on the feet, and if Moicano can't get him down and hold him down, I do expect him getting finished here. Or at the very least, if Moicano survives this fight, it'll be a bad one for him, and he'll take some significant damage. So I'm picking Jalen Turner by first round finish, probably going to be a knockout. Yeah, Jalen Turner's getting this one done, I think. Then we get Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. This is a very interesting fight. I feel like a lot of people are choosing Diego Lopez in this one. It makes sense. Sadiq Youssef did blow his wad against Edson Barbosa and then get walked down for the majority of the rest of the 5 rounds. Maybe that's putting some people off picking Sadiq Youssef, but I do feel like momentum tells me Diego Lopez takes this one. He has more ways to win. He's shown he can hurt guys on the feet, and once he hurt guys on the feet, he does have that killer instinct, chase you to the ground, and then he has the elite jiu-jitsu pedigree to go through a guy like Sadiq Youssef. So I am going to pick Diego Lopez. I don't know if I'm picking a finish. Youssef is pretty tough to finish, but this might be the first time we see him get finished. I don't know if he's been finished before, to be honest, Sadiq Youssef. I honestly don't know, but I'm picking him. Diego Lopez, second round submission. I think he'll hurt Youssef and then jump on him, but I can definitely see Sadiq Youssef beating Diego Lopez. This is also a pick 'em for me. I like this matchup from the UFC. Good job, Hunter Campbell, whoever the fuck else makes fights. Holly Holm and Kayla Harrison. I think this one's kind of written in the stars for Kayla Harrison. I saw a picture of her in her UFC fight kit, and she looks absolutely yoked, completely juiced. So I'm picking her to just lay and prey on top of Holly Holm. I think she'll choke her out as well. I'm thinking second or third round submission. I could even see a decision here, just a really boring one for Kayla Harrison. But for the storyline for Kayla Harrison, I'm picking first round submission for Kayla Harrison. Holly Holm, I can't believe she's 42. That's insane. And then we get Calvin Kattar, Aljamain Sterling. This might be a tough fight for Aljamain Sterling. We saw that he struggled to take down Sean O'Malley with those long legs. Calvin Kattar's another guy with that similar, longer, lankier build. He's a pretty big featherweight. I think Sterling will struggle to take him down, and I'm expecting Calvin Kattar to put hands on him. You know, Aljamain's striking defense is super rudimentary. His striking in general is super rudimentary. He doesn't do anything special. Calvin Kattar has a massive boxing advantage on him, and I don't think all that window dressing that Sterling throws out there to get his takedowns is really going to have much for Calvin Kattar. I think Calvin will put the hands on him, establish the jab in the first round, and I'm thinking in the second or third he'll put Aljamain Sterling out. I'm going to pick Calvin Kattar by third round finish. I do think he'll TKO him. Unfortunate, but I do think that's what's going to happen. Then we get into Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. This is a very tough fight for Rakic, man. I don't understand, after a 2-year layoff, how he's getting a fight against Yuri Prochazka. Man, this is a hard one for him. All Rakic really has for him is the grappling. Then again, Yuri Prochazka has shown a pretty exceptional ability to scramble on the ground and get back to his feet against some high-level grapplers. So I think he may get taken down by Rakic in the first round. And on the feet, all Rakic really has are kicks. His hands are okay. Nothing too special in terms of his hands. He could chew up the legs of Yuri Prochazka early, and if that's what happens, I can see Rakic chewing the legs up and then taking him down and really grinding him. So if Rakic wins this fight, I can see by decision. Boring decision at that. But I'm picking Yuri Prochazka by second round TKO. I think all that volume, the forward pressure, and the awkwardness of Prochazka will prove too much for a man like Alexander Rakic, especially after a 2-year layoff. I don't think he's ready for war like Prochazka is. I'm picking Prochazka there. If he loses, I'll be very surprised. And then we get Bo Nickel. Can we please get an explanation for why exactly? I mean, we know why Bo Nickel and Cody Brundage are on the main card of UFC 300, because the UFC is trying their very best to push Bo Nickel down our throats. But there is no reason for a fighter like Cody Brundage to be on the main card of UFC 300. He's Cody Brundage. And this is a complete throwaway fight. This fight makes no sense to have. Like this should have been the early prelim opener, right? Because everyone's going to be watching all fights on UFC 300. All the hardcore fans are interested in watching from the very beginning. But I guess Dana White and Hunter and those guys wanted to put this fight in the the main card opener to expose Bo Nickel to the more casual audience who are watching mainly for the main card or only for the main card. And I think exactly what the UFC wants to happen will happen in this one. I think Bo Nickel will put him out at some point in the first round. I don't think he'll knock him out. I think he'll take him down, submit him. If Cody Brundage lasts a round against him, then that's a win for Brundage. But there is just no way Bo Nickel loses this one. Cody Brundage is not very high level. Bo Nickel is pretty high level as far as we know. But this is a pretty good litmus test. If he struggles against Cody Brundage, then we understand exactly how high level Bo Nickel is and how far he can really go. But I'm picking him in this one to win quite easily in the first round submission. I think Charles do Bronx, everyone's favorite fighter. Everyone loves Charles do Bronx, and everyone seems to be against Arman Tsarukyan in this one. I do understand it's the old guard versus the new. Tsarukyan's quite young, and he's racked up some very valuable experience throughout his career. He's only 27. He's absolutely juiced. I have no doubt about that. Although I'm not accusing anybody of cheating, but Arman Tsarukyan, if anyone's juiced in the UFC, he's one of them for sure. Guy's absolutely yoked. But I'm picking Charles Oliveira to win this one, man. I think he might finish him. I just think about the advantages that Arman Tsarukyan has. He has advantage in the wrestling. But I think Charles Oliveira has advantage in the grappling overall. Off the bottom, he won't allow Arman to pummel him like guys like Joel Alvarez did. I don't see that happening. I don't think he's getting put out like Arman did to Beneil Dariush. Charles is just so dangerous everywhere, but I am very skeptical about Charles Oliveira because he shows the ability to give up, right? If he gets cracked with a good shot, the way he pulls guard, we've shown that against these Sambo guys that won't necessarily work as well as it usually does. But Arman's not the type to chase submissions. He likes to do damage on the ground brutally, right? I recommend going and watching that fight between Arman Tsarukyan and Joel Alvarez where he took him down and just laid it into him with elbows and one of the nastiest cuts on the nose you'll ever see in your life. Arman is a killer. But I think it's written in the stars. Charles Oliveira has to win this one and then give him the title shot. And then he wins the title off of whoever's holding the title at that point. And then he retires. I want this to happen. I need this to happen. Charles Oliveira, I'm picking him by second round finish. Man, it could really be anything. I can see him hurting Tsarukyan on the ground. Maybe Tsarukyan shoots in for something. And then Charles Oliveira catches him in some kind of a guillotine. Maybe a high guillotine. Or Darce, potentially. I can see these scenarios taking place. Charles Oliveira is a killer. I can't wait to watch him fight again, man. Woo! And then we get Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the BMF title. This is a banging fight. And I feel like some of the outrage here from guys like Lucas Tracy has been too much, man. Too overplayed. This is a good fight. This is a very good fight, man. Justin Gaethje's getting into his mid-30s at this point, and he's been in wars. Max Holloway's been in wars. Both guys are battle-tested. Both guys have good chins. But you would think that Max Holloway, being the GOAT chin, is the one to be able to withstand that power from Justin Gaethje. But let's unpack that really, because does Justin Gaethje have this otherworldly one-punch knockout power? I'm not too sure that he does. He couldn't put out Fiziev. He put some good damage on him. Yeah, he knocked out Dustin Poirier with a very well-placed head kick, well set up head kick. But he's not really putting guys out with one shot. I mean, he did against James Vick. He did against Edson Barbosa. But he hasn't been able to do it against guys who have chins, like Max Holloway. And everyone is bringing up the Tony Ferguson fight and say that the same shit's going to happen to Max Holloway. But Tony Ferguson never had the greatest chin in the world anyway. He had been dropped by Lando Venata. He had been dropped by, I believe he got hurt by Michael Johnson, if I remember correctly. He got hurt by someone else. Anthony Pettis, he got hurt on the feet with punches. Anthony Pettis was never the biggest puncher in the world anyway. But Tony Ferguson was able to go those 5 rounds essentially while taking Justin's biggest bombs and stayed on his feet. Justin Gaethje just hit him so many times and his shots are so concussive that it forced Tony to have to quit. And I don't know if Max Holloway has that in him. I'm actually predicting Max Holloway to win this one by a late finish. I'm thinking 4th or 5th round. I'm going to confidently say 5th round. Max Holloway and his pressure and his volume may get to Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje does not deal with pressure very well. When he's put on the back foot, he seems to get tired very, very quickly. It accelerates his fatigue, but when Justin is able to dictate the pace, and it's more of a fight in the center of the octagon where both guys have space, I would say Justin Gaethje would win this one. But against a guy like Max Holloway, Max throws extended combinations. He doesn't just throw a 1-2. Justin simply throws hooks. Right? His striking is great. He is a very high-level striker. But I think a guy like Max Holloway can eat those shots. And if you can eat those shots off Justin Gaethje, Gaethje throws a lot into them. And eventually, if Max Holloway works the body like I expect him to, if he throws those kicks to the body like I expect him to, if he feints the jab and then goes left hook to the body like he likes to do, and as he's done in the past, I'm picking Max Holloway to win this one by late finish. I do think that his pressure, his volume, and his chin will be too much for Justin in the end. Max has more tools on the feet. I don't know if Justin will shoot for takedowns as he does, and if he does, I don't know if Max will be able to deal with the strength of Justin Gaethje, because Justin is a pretty strong guy and a natural lightweight. But I don't really see him shooting in for a takedown. I do think that both guys understand that this is for the BMF title and it's time for both to throw down. And in the end, I do think that Max Holloway, he might look busted up by the end of the fight, but I think he'll finish Justin Gaethje. I think the body work and the volume and the pressure will prove too much for Justin Gaethje. So I'm picking Max Holloway, 5th round finish, I think. I can see a decision as well. Maybe he loses a round or two, and then the snowball effect takes place, and we see Max Holloway take control of the fight. So, decision or 5th round finish? I'm going to pick 5th round finish. I can see 4th round as well. Yeah. Max Holloway, baby. And then we get Weili Zhang versus Yan Xiaonan. It's crazy how similar these people are, and I'm not talking just because they're Chinese, all right? Right? They look very different. I'm not saying they look the same, but they're 34. Height is virtually identical. Weight is, of course, going to be the same, and reach is the same. But I'm picking Weili Zhang because she just seems like the upgraded version of Yan Xiaonan, and she's the upgraded version of all female fighters, in my opinion. I know she got put out by Rose Namajunas and got beat the second time by her, but the eye test just tells me that Weili Zhang is too high level for most of these girls. On the feet is really where Yan Xiaonan has a chance here, but Zhang has the ability to grapple. That's why I'm picking Weili Zhang, because if it's not going great on the feet for Yan Xiaonan, if it's not going well on the feet for Weili Zhang, I know that completely just shit on everything I just said about them not looking the same, and I just confused them. So that's my bad. Any Chinese viewers out there, I mean nothing by it, I promise. But I'm picking Weili Zhang. I don't know if I see a finish here. I could definitely see that, but I do think that it'll be an MMA masterclass from Weili Zhang, and I'm going to pick her to win by decision. I can see a 48-47, 49-46, maybe. Yeah, I think a fairly dominant performance from Weili Zhang, but I do think that Yan Xiaonan will have her moments and maybe take a round or two off of Zhang, potentially. And let's get into the main event here, baby. Alex Pereira, Poatan, versus Jamal Hill. Some people, I think, are a bit too ahead of themselves when picking Alex Pereira in this fight indefinitely, saying that Jamal Hill has no chance here. Jamal Hill is a high-level striker. At light heavyweight, I can see him beating a lot of guys. I can see him beating Yuri Prochazka. I can see him beating Rakic. I can see him beating a lot of these dudes. Although I do think that his win against Glover Teixeira was very convenient, because even though Glover was the champion at the time, he was still in his 40s, right? So it was a matter of time before someone put a beating on him like that, but he couldn't even finish Glover. He kept hurting Glover, but Glover would not go out. Does that speak to Jamal Hill's power? I don't know. I mean, he's knocked out guys that are chinny. Johnny Walker, that Australian guy with the weird tattoos that I can't remember the name of. So chinny fighters, he's knocked out cold. Alex Pereira has shown that at 205 his chin is improved. So do I think he can take some of those shots off Jamal Hill? Yes. Also the way he defends with that long mummy guard at times, it'll make it difficult for Jamal Hill to land those big shots. But I don't know. This fight is very dicey. I honestly don't really know who to pick for this one. But based off the fact that I love me some Poatan, I'm picking Poatan in this one. I do think that he'll finish him. The leg kicks are the equalizer here. Even if Jamal Hill has the advantage on the feet, which I don't know, man. He doesn't, but at the same time, he's very dangerous. He likes a head kick. I don't think he'll land those. Alex Pereira really doesn't get head kicked very often. It's just the way that he defends with that long guard. He also, his kickboxing pedigree means that he's so good at dictating the range and staying at his range. Decent head movement here and there. If Jamal Hill wins this one, I can definitely see it coming by way of Jamal Hill pressing Pereira against the fence and maybe getting Alex Pereira used to a straight shot down the middle, maybe a jab, maybe like a 1-2, and then he maybe feints the jab and comes around with the right hook, catch Alex Pereira as he tries to slip. I can definitely see that happening. But I think Alex Pereira is too high level of a striker, and he comes in with too measured of an approach for Jamal Hill to gain his momentum. Jamal, I think, will have to pressure from the get-go. If he lets Alex Pereira chew the front leg up or the lead leg up too early, I think it'll be curtains for Jamal Hill by the third round probably. So I'm going to pick Alex Pereira because I do think that he'll have success with the leg kicks. Everyone thinks that they can deal with the leg kicks of Alex Pereira by pressuring him. But as we saw with Prochazka, all it takes is a couple of those to land, and you're already limping. And if Jamal Hill's limping on that front leg, his power won't quite be the same as a fresh Jamal Hill. And I do think that by the third round, Alex Pereira will finish Jamal Hill. I do think that he'll land some kind of a left hook on him, maybe while Jamal Hill's coming in. He is susceptible to that left hook. Glover Teixeira was landing it almost at will at times. Even while he was hurt against the fence, he was countering off of that left hook, landing it, and I bet that's how Alex Pereira himself sees himself winning the fight, is by that left hook, maybe catching him in the middle of an exchange. I can see that happening. So I'm picking Alex Pereira, third round finish. Now, definitely don't take my word for it. I will admit I don't have the best track record for picking fights. I generally do big parlays for these cards, and I've never hit one in my entire life. But I know what I'm talking about when it comes to MMA. So if you guys are looking to bet, I would say my picks, they'll probably be similar to a lot of other guys in all honesty. But that was my first prediction video. Let me know what you guys think. I will do more of these if you guys like it. If anyone watches this video in general and you leave a comment, you tell me you enjoy my takes on MMA, then I will continue to make MMA videos in the future and try and build this channel towards more of an MMA channel. Yes, guys, let me know in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed. Have a very nice day, and let's go. UFC 300 around the corner. I'm excited. Hope you are. All right, have a good one.